Today on Public Eye News, a potential deal is in the works between the victims of Larry Nassar and the Department of Justice. And later, a juror has been dismissed in the currently ongoing Trump hush money case.
Austin Graham will have your weather forecast for the next couple of days, and later, today's sports update. I'm Bianca Kroll.
And I'm Liam Eulenjoy, and this is Public Eye News. The U.S. Department of Justice has agreed to pay approximately $100 million to victims of Larry Nassar. Nassar is serving decades in prison for assaulting female athletes under the guise of medical treatment. In 2022, victims sued the government over FBI agents apparently taking no action against Nassar for roughly 15 months, despite their knowledge of allegations against him. An internal investigation by the FBI, as well as a report by a Justice Department inspector, confirmed errors in the FBI's handling of the case. But the recently proposed deal could settle these claims. Michigan State University has agreed to pay $500 million to more than 300 women and girls who were assaulted. USA Gymnastics and the U.S. Olympic and Paralympic Committee also settled for $380 million. And the boss of the New England Compounding Center in Massachusetts will face sentencing in Michigan 12 years after dirty conditions in the lab led to a meningitis outbreak. Barry Cadden is already serving a 14.5-year sentence for federal crimes relating to the outbreak of debilitating fungal infections. In late 2012, NECC was shipping pain-relieving steroids to doctors around the country, but the lab was dirty and unsafe, a hotbed for the growth of mold. According to the CDC, more than 700 people were sickened in 20 states. Michigan is the only state to charge Cadden and another employee in any deaths. He recently pleaded no contest to 11 counts of involuntary manslaughter. Attorney General Dana Nessel said most of the 11 families supported the plea agreement.
Wisconsin Supreme Court justices are questioning how much power legislative committees should have. With the case that Tony Evers has brought up, it could go against the Republican-controlled legislature. This in turn can have an impact on the state government and how they function. Evers argues that the legislative powers are exceeding its constitutional lawmaking authority and acting like a fourth branch of government. Misha Seatlin, a lawyer for the legislature, said, quote, "Overturn how our state government has functioned for almost a century," end quote, if the court decides to side with Evers. According to Seatlin, numerous functions of the Budget Committee, the State Building Commission, and other legislative committees would be unconstitutional. Conservative Justice Rebecca Bradley questions the court's ruling, saying that the court could not just slice and dice separation of powers. The legislature has done its job to pass laws and fund programs to argue in court filings. The issue will be ruled in the next several weeks or months by the court. And the Michigan Department of Health and Human Services, otherwise known as the MDHHS, is reminding people of risk of consuming raw, unpasteurized milk. This is amid the outbreak of the highly pathogenic avian influenza that is affecting dairy cow herds. The virus has potential to spread to humans, as one case was reported in Texas already. Natasha Bondasarian, chief medical executive, said that anyone can get sick from drinking raw milk, but children under age 5, adults over age 65, and those with weakened immune systems are more at risk for getting sick. Pasteurized milk is safe as it has undergone many processes to kill diseases, such as E. coli and salmonella. People consuming any raw products and other dairy products are at risk for many illnesses. As of right now, the Food and Drug Administration do not have concerns about safety or availability of pasteurized milk products. And ambulance providers say they needed assistance for lawmakers this session to improve services, especially for those who need their help in rural parts of Minnesota. For that, they're asking for $120 million. Reporter Caroline Cummings has more.
EMS has been sounding the alarm about a crisis of its own. Providers say reimbursement rates for services are far too low, and recruitment and retention of workers are also big problems.
So this is not just a cry for help. For many services, it very well could be the last gasp of air before we say, you know what, we can't do it anymore.
Josh Fisher, the director of the Stevens County Ambulance Service, says his organization alone provides $300,000 worth of uncompensated care a year, meaning about 1 out of every 5 calls they go on, they don't get paid for. Add that up with other budget gaps for other providers, and that's why EMS is asking for $120 million in emergency aid to get them through in the near term.
You're hearing from EMS across the state calling 911 to the legislature, saying we need help.
Minnesota House Republicans on Tuesday called on Democrats in charge at the state capitol to pass a bipartisan bill with that funding. But DFL leaders and Governor Tim Walz, in a supplemental spending agreement, only earmarked $16 million, a fraction of what providers say they need. Walz last month said it represents a stopgap. Lawmakers will craft the next 2-year budget next session.
It is smaller not because we don't agree that the issue is of that magnitude. We think this does what it needs to do in the short run to get us to the point where we can talk about longer-term funding and solutions.
Literally, lives are hanging on the balance because of this deficit.
Caroline Cummings, WCCO News.
Now don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with your weather and national news after this break. Stay tuned.
Benvenuti a casa mia. I am excited to welcome you back to my home, right here in my kitchen where it all started. So, pull up a chair. Your family is going to love it. And cook along with me as I share meals and memories from my table on this season of Lydia's Kitchen. Would you come to my house for dinner? Tutti a tavola, a mangiare.
Today at 4:30.
Welcome back to Public Eye News. I'm Austin Graham, here to bring you your weather update. Taking a look outside here on the academic ball, pretty cloudy day. You see a few people walking around here, but other than that, it's a pretty nice day outside. Now taking a look around the UP, very cloudy all across the Upper Peninsula today. Starting up in Houghton, it is 50 degrees. All the way over in Ironwood, it is 49. Same in Iron Mountain at 49. Menominee at 51. Taking a look on the other side of the UP here, over in Escanaba, it is 46. In Manistee, it is 48. All the way over in Sault Ste. Marie, it is 46. And here in our beloved Marquette, it is 53 degrees. Taking a look at these current conditions, it is cloudy. The winds are coming out of the southeast at 7 miles an hour. And our barometric pressure is 29.94 inches and falling. Taking a look to tonight, these clouds are going to continue. The low will be 34. The winds will come out of the west-northwest at 8 miles an hour. And looking at tomorrow, those clouds will stick around with a high of 44 and a low of 32, with the winds coming out of the west at 18 miles an hour. Now taking a look at the rest of the week here, going into the weekend and next week, it's going to be partly cloudy Saturday with a high of 44, a high of 44, a low of 35. On Sunday, a high of 49 and a low of 31. And on Monday, a high of 53 and a low of 37. That's all I have for weather. Back to you guys at the desk.
Well, thank you for that weather update, Austin. Looks like we've got some gray days ahead, but now it's time for some national news. 2 jurors in Donald Trump's hush money trial have been dismissed. One juror said that after sleeping on it, she had doubts about whether she could be fair and impartial in the case. Another juror was removed after prosecutors said he may have been dishonest during questioning. Trump faces 34 felony counts of falsifying business records. His company reimbursed lawyer Michael Cohen in 2016 after Cohen allegedly paid hush money to Stormy Daniels. Trump's lawyers say the money given to Cohen was a legitimate legal expense. Cohen himself is expected to testify for the prosecution. The prospective jurors of the case have been intensely questioned. More than half of them brought in today to potentially replace those removed were dismissed from consideration. Why? Doubts that they could be fair and impartial in their assessment. Opening statements may begin as early as this coming Monday if the jury is refilled. And Boeing engineer Sam Salapour recently testified before Congress. He discussed the company's safety culture and emphasized issues with the production of its aircraft. Calling them defective airplanes, he said that the company is taking manufacturing shortcuts that could significantly reduce the airplane's safety in the life cycle. Salapour alleged that factory workers used excessive force to jam together sections of a 787 Dreamliner, which could jeopardize its structural integrity. He also said that he witnessed workers jumping on aircraft parts to make them fit together. Boeing has directly rejected and issued responses to both of these claims. The hearings are the first time Salapour has publicly voiced his criticism of the company, and what he had to say reportedly shocked Democratic and Republican lawmakers alike. And the CDC is launching a new campaign aiming to get more people to quit smoking. The ads feature former smokers who want others to know the dangers of cigarettes. Bradley Blackburn has more. Take a look.
I thought I was doing everything right.
Tammy ate healthy and ran every day. The 20-year smoker told herself menthol cigarettes weren't as harmful as others.
When surgeons open your chest at age 44 because of heart disease from smoking, you learn quickly there is no healthy cigarette. It was at that point that I realized I needed to choose life over cigarettes. I fought my way back, and I'm here. And I wanted to reach out and tell people this story so that they don't get to the point where I was.
Tammy is among the new faces of the CDC's Tips from Former Smokers campaign. This year's focus is on the dangers of menthol cigarettes, which the agency says can make it easier to start smoking and harder to stop.
One of the goals of the campaign that we have is to motivate people to quit smoking as early in life as possible. Your body can undo some of the damage that smoking has caused. Your blood pressure can improve. Your risk for a heart attack improves.
More than 1 million adults have quit thanks to the campaign, but about 28 million people in the U.S. are still smoking.
One of the things that I would recommend is talking to your doctor. Your healthcare provider could provide you with a quitting plan, recommend nicotine replacement therapy.
I am so grateful to be alive.
It's been 8 years since Tammy kicked the habit.
Reach out for help and don't quit quitting, because you do not want to go what I went through. You want your life, you want to be here. So learn from my mistakes.
She hopes everyone gets the message and the resources that are available. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
And we'll be right back after this short break. Stay tuned.
Subtle rises in sea level.
These events are climate change. Let's figure it out.
It's science and it's conservation.
We're at a period of remaking the world.
We can change the earth.
We're doing this for the future. If we don't, what then?
Welcome back. I'm Austin Graham, and this is your Public Eye Sports Report. The NMU women's lacrosse team is hitting the road this weekend for a big GLIAC road trip. The Wildcats will take on Davenport tomorrow before facing an impressive Grand Valley squad on Sunday. The last meeting between NMU and Davenport saw the Wildcats get the W 18-7. Senior midfielder Minnie Battelle of the Wildcats leads the GLIAC in goals, assists, and points. Battelle is just 8 points shy of hitting the 300 mark on her career and 16 away from 100 points on the season. Game time for tomorrow is set for 5 p.m. Pitching it over to the baseball diamond, the Detroit Tigers fell to the Texas Rangers 5-4. Trouble in the outfield set Detroit back 4-1 in the top of the 6th, but the Tigers were able to rally thanks to runs from Spencer Torkelson and Parker Meadows. Detroit tied the game in the 8th with a run from Matt Vierling off of Javier Baez's single, bringing the score to 4 apiece. In the top of the 9th, Josh Smith doubled on a line drive to bring Ezekiel Duran to home plate to take the lead and lift the Rangers over the Tigers. Detroit falls to 10-8 overall, but will look to split the series against the Rangers when the two squads meet again today. And finally, skating it over to the NHL, the Arizona Coyotes beat the Edmonton Oilers 5-2 in what could be the last game in the team's history. The Coyotes are likely going to be relocated to Salt Lake City, Utah, pending a sale to Utah Jazz owner Ryan Smith. The billion-dollar deal is expected to take place between now and the start of the Stanley Cup playoffs on Saturday. The purchase will transfer the team's operations to the NHL and then to Ryan Smith. The Coyotes leaving for Utah marks the end of a near 3-decade run for the team in Arizona. The franchise could make a return to the NHL within the next 5 years as an expansion team if the current ownership can build an arena for the team to play out of. That's all I have for sports today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Well, thank you for that sports update, Austin. Now, Bianca, I heard you've got another story for us, so would you like to share it?
I would. In Gojivik, the Cisco Lake boating access site will be closed down for the next few weeks for repairs. Repairs are being made to fix the concrete planks of the launch area, says James Peace. The planks have shifted and heaved due to the winter ice and frost. The site is expected to remain closed for a month until the spring weight is removed from the area. The DNR's Parks and Recreation Division field construction crew can do the repair work. This site can still be accessed via the Thousand Island Lake boating access site.
Well, it is too bad that, that's all the time we have left for Public Eye News today. I'm Liam Euland-Joy.
And I'm Bianca Kroll.
And we'll see you next time.
The preceding program was produced by WNMU-TV, Northern Michigan University Public Television, in studios located in Elizabeth and Edgar Hardin Hall.
Thanks for watching today's episode of Public Eye News. Make sure you subscribe to our YouTube down below or follow us on Instagram at NMU Penn to never miss a story.